On the next episode of RELO LO, the next thing that's gonna happen is the social event. I'm having like a social event here on the 26th. I wouldn't be surprised if like 60 people showed up. It's just the response has been really like everybody's like, yeah, I'll see you there. If they say they can't be there, I kind of push back a little bit and they're like, you know what, I can make it. The number of people that have come, it's not as many as I thought, but like I thought in the beginning, the way this space is, it felt just right. You can take a cheetah out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of a cheetah.
What happens when you drop a loan officer into a brand new city they've never been in before with the goal of $2 million in production within their first 90 days? You're about to find out.
I'm Casey Knowles.
And I'm Nick Carpenter.
Starting August 1st, 2021, I'll be putting my reputation and mental toughness on the line to put myself through the rigorous journey of starting over in a new city without a single contact while documenting the process along the way.
I'm betting that I can create a plan any loan officer can follow to build a big business. With the plan I put together in one hand and a cheetah juice in the other, Casey will take the plan to the streets, find opportunity, and see if it's still possible to achieve your dreams in America.
So the first 2 weeks are over. It is day one of week 3. In the beginning, I knew nobody, and by the end of last week, I ended up making contact with a handful of people. So it was a monumental gain because I had no friends, I had no contacts, and now after doing the class, not only do I have some friends and contacts, but I have like a ton of follow-up. So the 3 people that showed up at the class, they are all introducing me to their brokerage and their team, and so we're setting up meetings with essentially 3 separate teams and gonna do some trainings for them. I've noticed almost everybody in this area, they're not really utilizing Facebook in a way that helps retarget their clients and retarget their database, putting out videos and stuff. And so since I've seen that as a whole, what I'm gonna be doing is going to their office, and the class that I'm gonna do, we're gonna help them shoot like 1-minute videos, have them bring a change of clothes, get some marketing down for like a 6-12 month period. And then that way they can focus on doing what they do best, which is selling houses. So that's kind of the way that I can help groups as a whole right now, since instead of just doing one-on-ones, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. I now have potentially 30 people to help at once. And so by having like a night like this, I can get everybody together, we can hammer it all out, and gives me a chance to get belly to belly with them, provide value, and also not spend 1 hour with 30 people, which would be tough. It'd be 30 hours. So trying to be efficient about this, still grow. So the first month, obviously I have to meet people first, but what we're trying to do is first make contact, B, offer some value, which is the training. And then once we start to meet some people through the training, then we're wanting to invite them to some sort of social interaction where we can just talk and be friends. And so today I'm gonna drive by Trinity Brewing. It's a location that I have potentially planned out for next Thursday. So that'll be week 4 that we have the social. So I wanna go there, make sure that the owner's cool, make sure that the environment's cool. This is a place that I want to kind of represent my interaction with people, I guess. And so I'm gonna head there and see how it fits. I've seen it online. I think it'll be a good place, but we'll check it out once we get there. I would say my confidence was probably like at a 10 until I drove into town. Because, once I drove into town and you look around and like, I don't recognize the street. I don't recognize the building. I didn't know anybody here at all. And so once kind of the reality sits in, you drive into town, and I don't know my neighbors. I don't honestly, and I couldn't cheat and call somebody I know and say, hey, do you know somebody in Colorado Springs that can help me? So the day I got there, I felt like I had like an empty palette, like maybe I was an artist and I had an empty palette, but I didn't have any paint. I just had this plate. That's kind of how it felt. I think just reality hit, creating something from nothing is, it's not super easy. And so honestly, then until we had the class, I kind of felt like I knew that once things started growing, I could grow it, but I needed like some seeds to get it started. I needed something. And so whenever we had just the 3 people show up at class, like, in all honesty, after that happened, and actually like all 3 of these people already, like, I feel like we're already somewhat friends, maybe not lifelong friends, but we already have somewhat of a friendship. And so I don't feel like I have an empty pallet anymore. Hi. Good. I'm having like a social event here on the 26th.
We have you as a reservation already?
Yeah, it should be for ticket mortgage. I thought it was awesome. You know, the biggest takeaway for me was we have a side room that's very private, but they also had a bunch of kegs and stuff on the wall, which gave it kind of a busy feeling. And after having the class that pretty much sucked and failed, there's 3 people when we had this huge room. I noticed that since the room seemed busy, that maybe if my turnout sucks again, that it won't feel empty. So having a bunch of kegs and tables, and they have some equipment, some beer making equipment that's in there. So it gave it a kind of a busy feel just to begin with. They told me about 3 or 4 different beers that had won awards. And so I like the fact that they took a lot of pride of ownership in the business. And I think that will translate pretty well by bringing some people over. You take them in there, they like the place, take care of it. It just kind of creates a better chance of having good connections. So at this point, I'm kind of switching gears, going from an educational standpoint to kind of more of a social thing. And so I am sending out invitations via Facebook. And it's basically just saying that we're gonna meet at Trinity Brewing, have a drink, have some free pizza, and have a good time. It is Tuesday, week 3, and we're gonna shoot some short videos for different real estate agents so we can get some Facebook ads rolling to their database and to people that visit their website, their Facebook page, their videos, do some retargeting. And Jacob here is he is our test pilot numero uno. So we're gonna jump in there and shoot some videos, and he's ready to roll.
Earnest money or any other part of a real estate transaction, please feel free to reach out to me for that education as well too.
That's a good job, man.
Thanks, man.
Just finished the customer appreciation party, and I think it went really well. There was, the only person I knew going in there was Lorian, and there was probably, maybe 15 people or so at the party. So I was able to kind of go around and meet everybody. It's really important when you have like that number of people that you don't leave 1 or 2 people out, because if you leave them out and then they go to a meeting, it's really easy to say that maybe you don't like somebody or they rubbed you wrong. But if you can go and make some eye contact and get some small talk, then usually lowers their guard down. It's really hard to be angry about somebody that you met in person compared to like if you are driving, you have road rage, or you're on your keyboard kind of beating somebody up. So anyway, so I was able to basically make contact with everybody. I think I got everybody's name and kind of memorized them pretty good. So when I needed to, I was able to do some name dropping, which was nice. Proud of myself for that, because names are tough. Got a meeting for next week with the whole group, which they're gonna let me know on that. And then also got a one-on-one with Lorian to go over some of her business stuff on Wednesday. And met a lender that I might be able to kind of help out. Directed her to the Legion if she needed some help with her marketing, so that was cool. Also met a handyman, and met a couple husbands, which is good. It's good to meet the spouses and make contact with them as well, so you're not like a threat, that way. But I thought it was great. We're there for an hour and a half, and it was perfect. Didn't know anybody 2.5 weeks ago. Now I just picked up another 18 people that, that I'm friendly with. So can't beat it. It was a good day. Hey, if you're in the Legion of Loan Officers, I am super excited to come speak to you tomorrow. We're going to talk about taking shots in business, taking shots in life, and I can't wait to see you guys. Bullseye. I'm leaving to go to Vegas. There is what's called the Conclave, and that's pretty much an annual meetup for people that are in the Legion of Loan Officers. That's the group where I kind of learned how to do what I'm doing as far as marketing and attracting realtors to do business with me. So the people that are in the group now I've known, for 2 to 3 years, and I'm really excited to go back and see them. I got asked to speak at it, so that's pretty cool as well. I do know though that by leaving for 2 days, there's gonna be a lot of tasks. I don't have extra time. So if I'm gone for 2 days and even the weekend and traveling, that work has to get made up. So the work that I'm doing is not hard, but it has to get done. And so I do have a little bit of a shadow over me that while I go to have a good time, I still am creating a little bit of a handicap for me trying to get my work done. So, but the fact of the matter is, when I go to these things, especially the conclave and, my friends at the Legion of Loan Officers, I always come back like super pumped. So I might leave, but when I come back, I'm gonna be like really energized. I'll be ready to bust it out. So that's the upside. Just got back from Vegas. Was kind of wanting to regroup and kind of bring in my weekend from being in Vegas and being around a bunch of cool people. And so whenever I flew in to the airport, and normally I'd drive north to go to my house. And in returning home, as soon as I got to the airport, I started driving south to my current rental. So that kind of started off a little bit of a feeling like I wasn't really going where I was supposed to be. I wasn't going home, and that kind of was a sucky feeling. So when I got back to the house felt super dungeony, dark. It doesn't smell the same as my house. It doesn't feel the same as my house. And I kind of didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there at all, actually. So I decided to go to the Garden of Gods. It's like one of the most beautiful parks here in this area. I hadn't seen it yet. So I just jumped in my truck and went over there to just take 5 minutes and kind of regroup. Tomorrow's the social, and as far as I'm concerned, it's no different than having than the training. Like my job is to make contact and find the people that I want to work with and that want to work with me. So I'm looking for friends, honestly. I'm just looking for friends. So whether I meet them at a social or I meet them at a class, there's no difference. The difference is at the social, everyone's gonna have their guard down. And the reason that's important is because as soon as their guard is down, then I can kind of get to know them. And if that means, one place I'm providing value, and so I'm trying to provide value to let the guard down, like, hey, look, this guy's not trying to take something from me, he's like trying to help me out. And that's cool. But the social's even better because they're not expecting anything, and so they may have an expectation of what I'm going to deliver, and it may not be the same, or there may not be a way for us to talk one-on-one and see if we get along well. But at a social, they're not expecting anything. They don't have the guard up like I'm trying to sell them anything, at least for the most part. I'm in my house alone a lot, so it definitely, your environment's super important. People you hang around with are super important. For example, the gym I'm going to, there's a Planet Beach, and they have signs up that says, don't be a critic, or no criticism allowed, and don't throw your weights around and be a juice head and carry a 1 gallon. It actually says that. It refers to people who carry a 1 gallon of water at the gym to be hyper aggressive. And when you say, don't be a critic, that doesn't make it positive. So those words, like when I go to the gym and it says critic there, it actually impacts me a little bit. It doesn't change my day, but we all have a certain amount of energy to spend. And when you use a little bit of that energy to ignore something or to put it at bay, you're still using the energy. So we have to be around negative stuff throughout the day, and it's unavoidable. But if I can choose my environment at times, because I have a choice, then it'd be silly not to. So I'm not going to keep going to that gym, because when I drive to that gym, I have this feeling of, don't be a critic, and those just aren't the kind of words that are necessary, especially when you go to a positive place. They could say something like, support your fellow human, or love your gym or something. I mean, that gives you it's like a positive reinforcement as opposed to saying, don't be an ass. I mean, that doesn't make me feel better by saying don't. So anyway, so coming here, if I'm gonna talk about what happened in Vegas, like I don't really wanna go, like my house is a little bit of a negative place because it's not my home. I don't have friends there, it's dark. I don't have my dog there now. So, I gotta be there when I gotta be there. But if I can get out to reflect on going to Vegas and seeing my friends, I mean, why wouldn't I do it at Garden of the Gods? It's better. The environment here is positive. And probably one of the most positive places in Colorado Springs. So if I can chill here for 30 minutes and kind of regroup on what another positive experience was, which was hanging out with my friends, then I'm gonna make that choice. So that's how it makes me feel. Well, whenever I was trying to get people to go to the event, it was tough. Like I couldn't even get them to respond to my messages on Facebook. And so since then, I've been sending out invitations to the social tonight, and I'm like super stoked. I wouldn't be surprised if like 60 people showed up. It's just the response has been really like everybody's like, yeah, I'll see you there. If they say they can't be there, I kind of push back a little bit and they're like, you know what, I can make it. So almost, not everybody, because I sent a lot of invitations, but a high percentage of my invitations came back with positive stuff. And I know the size of the room is not very big, so I think this thing is gonna be packed out. And it's gonna feel like a huge win after kind of blowing the first event up with only 3 people. So the event's going on right now, and the number of people that have come, it's not as many as I thought, but like I thought in the beginning, the way this space is, it felt just right. Today we're having a mixer here at Trinity Brewing. I have invited some different, not just realtors, but there's been a house cleaner here, there's an investment advisor, a couple general contractors, obviously some realtors, even some mortgage or loan originators. So the fact is I don't know anybody in town, so any contact for me is a good contact. And this is just a way to get people out of their shell a little bit, have them show up, have a drink, loosen up a little bit, and just share contacts, share stories, break bread, and make some friends. And that's the only objective is to tighten some friendships up. So that's what we're doing. Should be here maybe another hour or so. There is a Tom Ferry seminar thing in Denver, so I know there's quite a few agents that may come here afterwards if they're not too tired. And so kind of hoping that happens, because there's maybe 7 or 8 people that I wanted to meet that said that they were going to be at that seminar. So I'm going to stick around a little bit and see if that happens, and if so, I will make a couple more friends. The space was just perfect to where I could kind of introduce people to people and also have conversations. It wasn't too loud that, our conversations got drowned out. So again, it didn't turn out like I thought, but again, we left, at least I left with a huge win because I was able to work the number of people that were there. So I think it's just perspective. You could wish for what you want to wish for, but you always got to deal with what you got. So whatever's in front of you, that's the opportunity. And I feel like it's a huge win that I'm able to go, deep with everybody, because all the people that are here right now they're being super open and cool, and they're like letting me inside. And that's what's fun.
I think that's just weird talking making, yeah.
Today we're at Trinity Brewing in Colorado Springs. We're having a Colorado Springs real estate syndicate mixer. That way we can just get face to face, create some new relationships with realtors that maybe we didn't know before. We got our guy Chris Walters with Lionheart Home Inspections here as well. And yeah, just looking to get face to face with some realtors, create some new connections, and just looking to develop deeper relationships with people here in Colorado Springs. I'd love for people that show up to this mixer to know at the end that Ticket Mortgage is different than other mortgage companies, that we have a whole creative arm and the different ways that we're helping realtors grow their business. And obviously we can do loans just like everybody else can, but we also have a whole bunch of strategies behind the scenes on how we're helping realtors grow, and I hope that they leave here knowing some of those ideas and they have a desire to meet with us further and understand exactly how we can help their specific business. If realtors get a ton of value from what we're doing, the thing that makes the most sense is for them to send us a home loan. In the end, we are looking to grow a home loan business, and so that would be the ultimate goal, would be how can we get some referrals and some business coming from these realtors. The biggest difference coming off of the Las Vegas event that I just left and coming here is that everybody there has already paid me, they've already invested money with me, and we have a relationship already. So with people there, it's more about meeting in real life, having a real life relationship, taking that online relationship into the real world. And with this mixer here today, it's more about creating new relationships. I don't really know any of the people that are in this room, and so it's just creating some relationships where they ultimately want to meet with us one-on-one, figure out how we can help their business, and we can actually have some sort of business partnership in the end.
It's Saturday. Whenever I was at the event, we had a guy named Travis show up. He was somebody that I hadn't met before. I don't even think I friend requested him, but I think he saw one of our ads to the event and he showed up. He's a guy that's only been here a short amount of time. He was a realtor in another town, and so after the event, I went ahead and had a beer with him up the road at a brewery. And again, that was Thursday, just a couple days ago. The first time I met him. And it's Saturday, and he shot me over. He had an open house today, and at the open house, he referred a buyer to me. So today, I've already been able to pre-approve that buyer, and I got the pre-approval out. And Travis now has an appointment with this buyer to do a consultation and try to get like a buyer's agreement with them. So if that works out, we're gonna be in bed together. So the buyer's really cool, Travis is cool, I'm cool, and it's all gonna work out. So that happened today. Not only that, but there's also another person at Keller Williams. She's a pretty big person here. Her name's Casey Clark. She actually gave me a phone call as well and had a conversation with her. One of her agents had somebody that had a hard time getting financing. I ended up getting referred that one, and then I had another referral as well. So here it is Saturday. It's like the very end of month one. I didn't anticipate really getting any referrals yet. I was thinking if it were to happen, like I said, there's this hockey curve stick thing. I thought it'd probably come in towards the end of month 2. And so I feel like I honestly feel like I'm a full month ahead. And on a three-month race, being a month ahead, super huge. So today gave me a lot of confidence, and I'm pretty excited, knock this thing out of the park. Since I can't control what's gonna happen, the results, all I can control are the inputs. So my plan from the beginning has been to put as many inputs as I can put in the first 2 months and deliver as much value as I can in the first 2 months, that the relationships I've developed, I can start to hopefully harvest the fruit of those month 3. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I want to show people that if they follow a proven system, that they can make it. Now, if somebody were to come work for Ticket Mortgage, for example, and they had a family, and they came to work for me, and I told them, if you follow what I follow, your family's gonna be able to eat. Now, again, it's easy for me to say that, but I can't control the outputs. So the best thing I can do is put myself in their shoes, assume that I'm coming to a new town, and come month 3, my promise is that you can close loans. So in order to back that up, come month 3, I'm not gonna eat any food unless I get a loan. So if I get a loan, I can eat for 24 hours, and then if I get a loan, I can eat again. So if I get 15 loans, I'm gonna eat all month. That's gonna be super hard to do. But if I can make it a month without food and enough loans to eat and make it, then I know that any other average Joe who just follows the program, or a superstar, at any level will be able to do enough loans to make it and feed their family. But if I don't prove it, I don't think I can go and sell it to anybody or make any promises. Because I can promise them the input, but I can't promise the output. So I have to show what the output is. And if my output rocks, then nobody's gonna see me apologize. If I recruit somebody, I won't apologize for it. Because I know what they can do, I know what can happen. on the next episode of RELO LO. I haven't been away from my family for this long in an extended time frame in a long time, and that's not a good thing. The huge focus is to get butts and seats for the class on Tuesday. It is an emotional drain to get turned down constantly. Just like always, I'm still thinking last time we had 3 people show up. I wonder how many people are gonna show up. But I'm thinking like there's gonna be some people there. I'm feeling it in my bones.